Oh, wow. Okay. That is the end, apparently. All right, cool. All right. Wow, we did it. Okay. First things first, the bottom center of the screen says that we have beaten 36 games in 2024 and 483 since we started doing this in 2020. Those numbers are now outdated. We've now beaten 37 games in 2024 and 484 since we started doing this. Let's go. Okay, let's talk about Loretta. So this isn't... So what this game is it's a point-and-click-esque murder mystery. Maybe not much of a mystery, but it's a murder psychological thriller. I saw the description at some point somewhere that said it was like Hitchcockian, very Hitchcock-esque, and that is true. It's definitely, there's something about it that is very psychological thriller, but without really going overboard, showing you too much. It's definitely one of those things where it's like less is more. You know, it allows you to use your imagination at some points where it's like, you know, it could show you something really grotesque, but it doesn't. It just kind of allows you to use your imagination kind of in that Hitchcockian kind of way. I definitely see that in this. And it was, the pixel art did lend itself well to that type of story. Because pixel art's kind of that way too. It kind of is a less is more kind of a thing, you know? It doesn't show you in photographic detail every little thing. You kind of gotta... Even when it does show you things, it's not like it's in super gory detail, right? So it does still allow you to use your imagination again a little bit within that framework, which is cool. I like that for this kind of story. Reminded me, that particular part of it reminded me a little bit of Signalis. Signalis is a survival horror game that's got a very similar pixel art style and kind of does the same kind of thing when it comes to the more grotesque stuff that it shows. So I liked that. I thought that was cool. There were a couple of parts that were genuinely disturbing. Some of the imagery, because of what we already talked about, was pretty disturbing here and there. And just the story of this woman, without spoiling anything, it gets pretty insane. The story is definitely interesting. The story is very good. It's very well written. It's not voiced at all because it's all text, but what's written is well done. It's well written. The characters seem very fleshed, like good. They're good characters. It's well done. It's believable. As far as downsides go, there's not really a lot to say negative about this game. There's one thing, and it's more of a logistical thing that really bugged me. And that is the checkpoint system and the autosave system. It's, I learned this the hard way, but apparently it doesn't save except for at the beginning of every chapter, which is bad enough, which means if you want to stop mid-chapter, you're just going to have to play the rest of the chapter again. But even worse, the game doesn't tell you when a new chapter is starting or ending. So if you want to back out of the game, it doesn't. It just gives you one confirmation screen. Do you want to leave? That's all it says. It doesn't say unsaved progress will be lost. It doesn't say your last save was 10 minutes ago or anything like that. It just says, do you want out? And if you hit yes, when you start it back up, you are going back to the beginning of the chapter. It might have been 2 minutes ago. Could have been 20 or 30 minutes ago. At one point, I did lose 20 minutes of progress because I backed out thinking, this game probably has a fairly frequent autosave system. Why, if it asks me if I want to back out and it doesn't say anything about unsaved progress being lost, I'm probably safe, right? Virtually every other game I've ever played, if it doesn't say unsaved progress will be lost, then you don't have anything to lose when you back out. Not so with this game. So that was highly annoying, and it's easily fixable. They can either input more autosaves throughout the chapters instead of just at the beginning of every chapter, or at the very fucking least, they could tell you when a chapter's starting, and then say when you back out, are you sure you want to quit? All progress since the start of the chapter will be lost. That's all they have to do. The more frequent autosaves will be better, but that's the bare minimum, and they couldn't even do that. That really bummed me out. it caused me to have to replay a significant portion of about 20 minutes of the game, which in a game that's only 2.5 hours long, that's a lot. That's a lot of the game. So I hated that. That's an easy fix. I think they could patch that and fix that, but whatever. Outside of that, I mean, the pixel art style was really cool. I loved the imagery in the game. I thought that the story was good. I mean, all that other stuff was fine. As far as like the way the game looks, sounds, and plays, I don't really have any complaints. The only other thing that's going to affect the ranking that I have negative to say about it is not a critique on the game. It's just point-and-click games are like, if I had to make a list of like the top 5 games that are like my least favorite genres, point-and-click adventure would probably be on there. This is, I think, if you want to officially categorize this as a point-and-click adventure, this is the only one I've ever beaten. Because I've played several others, especially a long time ago when I was doing more of like my alphabetical stuff and I was playing a lot more random stuff. I've attempted to play multiple other point-and-clicks and I've never gotten through any of them. So if you want to count this as a point-and-click, which I think is a fair assessment, then this is the only point-and-click I've ever beaten. And it's very slow-paced. It's very, oh, you missed something in the bathroom? Well, you gotta walk back up to the bathroom, and it's gonna take you a couple minutes to get there, that kind of thing. It's very slow-paced. It's not exactly a lot of action, combat, RPG elements. It's none of that. So, but for what it is, I thought it was quite good. I think this is probably the best point-and-click I've ever played, is a fair statement. It's not saying much because I haven't been a big fan of that genre historically, but I did enjoy this game. It's not going to rank super high because of just the nature of the simplicity of the game and how short and simple it was at the end of the day. But for what it was, I thought it did a great job filling that niche, what it is. It's like whoever the person that made this game, I think this is a 1-person or 2-person team, they said, this is the game we want to make. It's going to fill this very specific niche. This is what it's going to do. It's not going to have a lot of bells and whistles. It's not going to overexert itself. It's going to do tell this one very specific story. You're going to have some branching narrative options. This game probably has multiple endings. I did get a distinct impression playing this that things could have gone very differently. I don't know that for sure, but I assume that that's true based on the way that it went. Because I definitely got one of the bad endings. And so I like that. I like that choose your own adventure kind of a feel to it. It didn't have a ton of that because there's not really a lot of fail states, but there were a couple of times that I messed up and it would boot me back. It happened twice. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good game. It was definitely worth the $12 that I caught, and that's at launch. I think it was on sale at launch because of Game Pass, Xbox Ultimate, whatever. But I paid $11.99 for it. It was absolutely worth $11.99, no doubt about that. So, if you like narrative stuff, if you like point-and-click stuff, if you like just like a good murder mystery or like if the idea of like a Hitchcockian psychological thriller that takes 2.5 to 3 hours to beat in a pixel art style sounds appealing to you, whatever you're picturing when I say that, that's about right. There are some twists and turns that will surprise you, but at its core, that's what it is. And I did enjoy it. All right, last order of business. Loretta, it's been fun. Thank you for allowing us to play you, but we are now going to delete you from our console and never play you again. Bye. Bye, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Loretta.